doing on this? Is it Tuesday? I think. Yep. How you doing? I'm doing well. I had a hard day at work today. Welcome back to All Things Positive channel. I did say in the last video that I did, the first video, the last video that I did, that I would talk about love languages. But I guess God said, nope, I changed my mind. So I am going to talk about abandonment. And guys, what God is doing, what He's using me for is, you see how things are changing in the world. People are just acting out. That's the nice way to put it. Like, just mean-spirited, ugly, fighting, entitlement, all types of stuff, negative stuff. Well, God is tired of that. So He's doing a new thing. He has recruited some of us to speak on His behalf. Even though everybody have, or most of us have, our own relationship with Him. So this is a safe space, and we don't always have to agree with one another. I guess I should say we should agree to disagree sometimes, and that's okay. We don't have to get mad. We don't have to be ugly. I want this to be a positive channel for all. Christians, definitely. Non-Christians, you are welcome. Not trying to convert you, but it's all about being positive. So you may be able to pull something out of a situation that I had, or something that I went through, and how God brought me through it. And you just never know what might happen. So anyway, with abandonment, I have my notes. He gave me some notes. So fear, number one. I can go all day about fear. I had some abandonment issues because my mom and my dad, they both, I don't know how else to put it, they didn't want me. Brought me into the world, but didn't have much to do with me. So it left me feeling a certain type of way. But that didn't mean that I didn't try to force myself on both of them at different times in my life. My mom, my whole life. My dad, not so much. But I did. Through being an adult, but in my 20s, I kind of cut it off. I don't know, like a light switch just went off on me, and I stopped trying. I would just pop up to his house because I moved out of town, and especially after I had my daughter, and my mindset was, well, he wasn't there for me, so who doesn't love a grandchild? So I would pop up and force my daughter on him, and he was never mean or rude to me. It was just out of sight, out of mind. It was like I didn't exist. And that did something to me up here. And of course, I took that into relationships. It's not a good thing when you feel abandoned by those that are supposed to be there for you. You're not supposed to really have to rely on friendships. Your family, they're the ones should be first. Yeah, but it didn't work out that way for me. One time, I'm gonna say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I think, maybe it's been a while. So every time I would go over to my dad's house in my 20s, when I got ready to leave, I would always leave my phone number. Phone number didn't change. And he was like, oh, yeah, leave it in that drawer in the kitchen. Okay. So I did. Daddy called me sometime. All I wanted was one phone call from him. Just one. I never received that phone call. You move on. So, well, let me go back even further. So, junior high, really high school, I was a cheerleader. And high school, the town that I'm from is a big football town. So, that was the only time my dad gave me some attention. It was like once we were walking out the gate after the football game, everybody's going to their cars. We're walking to the bus. Well, yeah, my dad seemed to find me, and, the drummers are playing, the band playing, and we walking. We got the pom-poms and everything, having fun. Walking to the bus, and, well, he slides right there, You look to the side, and, oh, there's my dad. Well, he didn't have much to say to me, but, he was right there. It's kind of tacky, but okay. That's a memory I have of him, but it's not much of a memory. Fast forward. So, I would always leave my phone number and expect a phone call in my head. I really did expect that phone call and never received it. So I'm sitting at work one day. My phone rang. Well, I saw his name, but I was kind of like, just kind of staring like, that's my dad calling? So I said, hello. And I have an aunt. She's passed away. May she rest in peace. Her name is Barbara Ann. I was named after her. But we don't have the same middle name. But so he's, hey, this is your brother. And he said his name. And he was like, it's your birthday. So I'm just calling to, say hello and to say, I wish you have a happy birthday. Pause, silence, crickets, all kinds of stuff was going on in my head. And I'm like, so all these years from my 20s, so he does have my number. Because you start talking to yourself, talk yourself into things, and you talk yourself out of things. You abandoned, it's just, it messes with your head. I don't know how else to put it. Maybe I should have gone to get some help, but I didn't. But God got me over it, regardless. But I'm telling my story here, and I'm supposed to be helping others. So this is what I'm trying to do. Somebody's gonna relate to this somewhere out there. It's kind of tacky. So he knows my number, and he does call people for their birthdays. I see. What about your child? I'm his firstborn. Not one phone call. And again, one can say, but Barbara, you could have called him. Yes, and I did often in my 20s. I was determined to have a relationship with my father. I still love him, but it's just nothing there. If he needed me, of course, I would be there for him. That's the right thing to do. But he has never been there for me. Between him and my mom, I used to go over and spend the weekend every once in a while. And it's not like he really spent time with me. Maybe I was more with my stepmom than him. And when he was around me, when I was a little girl and I was spending the weekend there, all he would do is talk bad about my mom. I get home, all my mom did was talk bad about him. But guys, what about me? So, I don't know if any of you are doing that, kind of forgetting about your kids. Don't mess them up in the head. That's going to damage them. They may or may not come out of it, but they don't have to go through that. If we would be just a little bit more mindful. I was a little more mindful. I sat down once I got pregnant. All the things. I'm not going to treat my child the way my mom did. I'm going to be there for my child. My dad wasn't there for me. I was going to be different from them. And I was, because I made up my mind that I was going to do that. But the abandonment is just not connected to your child. So you look at the relationships that you get into, whether like who you're dating, and whether you're a male or female, it's the same. We're human beings. We have feelings. We want to be loved by our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins. That's the way it's intended to be. But it doesn't always work out that way. So, what else do I want to say? The relationships. What was that second thing? I wrote something down. Definitely want to say to you guys. Trust issues. Okay. The abandonment usually makes you not want to trust people. You're secretive. It's hard for you to open up because you feel like they're gonna abandon you. Well, I'm not sure what rock I came from underneath. I was the opposite. I was giving my trust away, and I'm almost thinking that it had something to do with how my grandmother kept saying I needed to find a man. Oh, I had to find a man, and a good man, so he can marry me, and we have kids. And that was the world. That was it. That was the thing. Wow. Ooh. No. Anyway, so I was giving it away, and people took advantage of me, unfortunately. And that's on me. It's on them too, but that's on me. Our parents, that time, that era, way back in the day, times were just different. So it's not to bash my family, but bad things happened because of my family. And it left scars that I didn't even know I had. Again, I thought I was fine, but I wasn't until now. And always, as long as we're alive, there's room to grow, to get better and better and better. But apparently, God wanted this to go out. It's a bit hard for me to talk about because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me to even have to talk about it. So there's two guys that I wanted to discuss with you. Hold on one second, guys. My light went out. So I forgot to charge it, but I'm still gonna talk. I'm gonna still talk. Anyway, so there were two guys that I dated. One in my 30s? No, my early 40s. And one in my 50s. in my 50s. The other one was about 3 years back. So when I was younger, in my early 40s, I met this guy and we had so much chemistry. I had never had good chemistry with anyone. So, everything kicked in. What my grandmother said, yeah, this the one. He's the one. You know, he wanted to get married. Doesn't always mean that you're going to get married, but we wanted the same things. It was just a matter of seeing where things were going to go. Well, things did not go so well. So what happened is he was a bully. He was a bully. But because of and this is the other thing, so there's fear that I wanted to talk about today. And then there was, what was the second one? Why can't I remember? The trust issues. And the third thing is low self-esteem. Well, I would have wanted to fight one of y'all if somebody said I had low self-esteem. No, I don't. You know, I thought I was so together, but I was really screwed up because of my childhood. And you just have to take it back. You have to stop and think. And I'm kind of getting off course right here, but sometimes if, just say you're married or you've been in a long-term relationship and a person keeps telling you the same thing about yourself, and you guys always get into an argument, and then you just end up mad with one another for a few days. You know, y'all in the same house, you're not speaking because you had this disagreement. Well, that stems from something. So you might be like me, or you might know someone that was like me. Something is wrong. And it's always good to check yourself. It takes a strong, mature person to check themselves. Am I wrong? Especially when somebody keep telling you the same thing over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying just because someone tells you something about yourself, I'm gonna change it. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, when you are in a relationship with someone and your actions are affecting them, or vice versa, it's time to stop and think, am I doing that? Or you can look at it in another, this is another positive way spin. You can say, you know what, let's role play. And I'm not talking about anything sexual. I'm just talking about put yourself in the other person's place. Look at you through their eyes, that lens. Think about it. Maybe I do come across that way. Compromise is a beautiful thing. The devil wants you guys to fight all the time, wants discord in the home. Fighting, not getting along with one another. No. This is another thing that the Lord wants. He says it's time for all of this negativity to stop because he's over it. And we are his sheep, and he wants what's best for us. So there's some changes that we need to make. Change our lives, change our mindsets, change how we do things. Don't think negatively about yourself and others. Be more helpful with others. There are all kinds of things that we can do. I've started doing them, but he's going to have me to speak on things every week because he wants you guys to start thinking about your actions and how you might affect people in the world. What can you do for the world? How can you contribute? What can you contribute? You know? I just realized I'm still in my work clothes. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't even thinking. But the low self-esteem. So I got with this guy, the one with all the chemistry. Oh my God, it was amazing. So what happened is he became a bully. He started like, give me that remote. I mean, can I give you the remote? I would say that. He's like, yeah, you know what I mean. So, I would hand it to him, just little bitty things. But then because I would say the first 3 months he courted me so so hard. And we did have a good rapport. He wasn't faking that, but he was hiding the fact that, I don't know, he wanted us. I had a house then, and he was like, I want you to sell your house and move in with me. Okay. And that threw me off. Well, first of all, we just met. I said, maybe we can discuss that in 6 more months. And he was like, well, we've been together for 3. I think he said for 4. And I need a little more time. I started to see a few things that I didn't like, but you have to see, can I compromise? Is he gonna compromise? But I wasn't the person who I am. But I was also thinking, like my grandmother said, ooh, this is a good man. And he wants to marry me. He have a really nice house. His house was much nicer than mine. The community was one where I wanted to live. And I was just in the back of my head, maybe. I think so. But something was just like, take your time. That was the Holy Spirit. I didn't even know. I thought that was me talking to myself. Duh. No, it was the Holy Spirit. But anyway, so his behavior got worse. He started to talk about my hair. So I wear wigs. And yes, I do have hair underneath. And yes, I'll take my wig off in front of somebody that I'm dating. But I don't go outside. It's just a preference thing now. You get hooked on the wigs. So he was like, I don't like you wearing those wigs. And I'm like, well, I don't care. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but I like wearing them. So we kind of went back and forth with that. Then the wig wearing, we went from that to, and he actually said this, his words, you're the heaviest woman I ever dated. I said, well, you don't have to date me. And I'm just thinking, he really said that. Well, that was the end for me. But I hear my grandmother in my head, that's a good man. And my grandmother used to say, you got to take a little shit, put up with a little shit. And I'm just like, do I want to? I don't know. So, it just went on from that. So I would go into the pantry and get a snack. And he was like, but you just had a snack. And I'm like, but you're not my father either. You're not going to tell me when I can eat. It just spiraled. And then he was like, you're not going to talk to me any kind of way in my house. And I said, how am I talking to you? I was talking to him the way I'm speaking now. So I guess I wasn't supposed to say anything at all except for, okay, whatever you like. I don't think so. And that was me not having my self-esteem. But I was scared to lose him is my point, because my self-esteem was so low. And I'm thinking, wow, we get along so well, except for when he A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then I start thinking, well, maybe I can just put up with it. Because I'm not going to find anybody else I get along with. I'm in my 40s and I don't meet people that often. And he is a good guy. That's low self-esteem. That's settling. God have better out there for us. So, anyway, the next guy in my 50s. So this was someone from high school. All right. And we started talking on the phone, and he's super sweet. He's super, super sweet. So something had happened. He was supposed to be going overseas or whatever, and COVID hit. So me, you can just stay here. It was something was going on with his passport and everything, and you can stay here. It's not a big deal because allegedly, when COVID hit, it was new to everybody, and I don't know how his passport, something happened, got lost or whatever, and with COVID happening, the processes were just all haywire. So what was supposed to be maybe a few weeks to a month, that turned into about 8 months. And I didn't mind, but self-esteem in my 50s. In my 50s. This is right before God said, daughter, enough. Stop. You're doing too much. As I said yesterday about self-worth. Now, again, another great guy. I can't take that from him. But there was a lot of baggage that came along with him. Baby mamas, and the kids were grown adults, and one was younger, but not young. I think she was 11, 12, something like that. But it was how the mothers leaned on him. And I think, to me, it seemed like they were using him for money. And he was also still married, but had been separated for over 10 years, but was going to get a divorce, allegedly. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to see where this is going to go. So he's like, well, I told my sister, Barbara is my wife. That's like just talking to me like we were going to get married. Okay. When somebody is separated, you still married. But they had been separated for a long time. I hate to say but. I hate to say but. They had been apart for so long, and actually they were good friends. So he would talk to all the exes in front of me. It's not like he was hiding it, but where we fell off was it was like he didn't like me giving my opinion, how they were using him, how it came across. Well, he is a nice guy, and it just seemed like every time one of them called, he put on his cape to the rescue for them. And I'm like, don't they have a man? Well, that's my baby's mom, and da-da-da-da. I understand that to an extent, but they were using him. But that's just me. He didn't think so, and of course he wouldn't think so. So we kind of butt heads on that. And why do I bring him up? I bring him up because I let him stay with me rent free. He did put food in the house. He bought groceries when he got his check, and I didn't need him to pay any bills. But you putting money out to those females, and I really wasn't paying attention because I cared about him. And I thought we were going to have a future together. And my self-esteem was low, and I didn't know it. So all of this stuff came back up when God started working on me. I had some serious abandonment issues. I was afraid that we would break up, which we did. I had to ask him to leave. Well, I don't mean it in a bad way, like I had to ask him, but I asked him to leave, and things just weren't going right. between us. I had an ex before I started dating him. I was seeing someone, and it was more of a situationship and just really sexual thing. And the guy moved to Washington D.C. So that's why I wasn't seeing him anymore. And then I met this new person, the person that I let live with me. He came into my life, and then we started talking, and we hit it off right away. Cool. Okay. So, the guy came back, the situationship guy, and first thing he did is call me. So we supposed to get back together and I guess start having sex again like we were. Familiar. We knew what to do for one another. All of that stuff. Pleasure wise. But I was with someone. I was with this new guy. And I told him that. Point blank period. No, I was not messing around on him. But what did I do? I told my man that was living with me. Guess who called me today? He wanted us to meet up somewhere, and he played it off real good. I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought he would appreciate it. I don't like hiding anything, but that's me. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. That's when he started acting very, very, very different in a bad way. I didn't like it. He was standoffish. He was moody. I thought he was going to beat me up one night, but he didn't. My cousin Sean had passed away, and which I had not talked to the situationship guy. Some weeks had gone by. Then my cousin Sean had passed away from COVID, and may he rest in peace. And then my aunt brought over an announcement. Death announcement for Sean, put it in my mailbox. My aunt didn't tell me that she did that. So I didn't know that my live-in guy was checking my mailbox at night, which I didn't have anything to hide. He woke me up about 2:00 in the morning, flipped that light on, and I have to get up at 4 a.m. every morning. And he was like, such and such sent you a letter. He put it in the mailbox. What? I hadn't talked to him anymore. So, and he started pacing back and forth, and he had the crazy eyes. I thought he was gonna beat my ass. Sorry, Lord. I really thought he was gonna beat me up. God told me to stop cursing. I'm so sorry. And I thought that was it for me. But he didn't, and I'm trying to tell him no. So I took it and I flinged it back at him. I said, open it. I didn't even know what it was. It kind of looked like my aunt's handwriting, but okay. So he opened it, and when I saw it was my cousin Sean, and I said, my cousin passed away. My aunt must have brought that, and she didn't tell me, else I would have gotten it out. So I was mad because I couldn't go back to sleep because he scared me. That was the end for us, but that low self-esteem, it took me weeks to tell him that I wanted him to leave. I wasn't happy anymore. He just wasn't the same person anymore that he was, and no sex was going on. He just kind of dissed me, but was still living with me. So to me, that didn't make any sense for him to stay there. So that's why I asked him to leave. We're cool now and everything. We talk. And again, he's a really sweet guy. But things just kind of got out of hand. But that whole situation came back up when God started working on me, and it was showing me things about me that I needed to change, and why I allowed myself to date as long as I dated someone that told me that they were going to be divorced by a certain month, and that month came and passed, and it did not happen, and I just kept holding on. All I can go back to is what my grandmother had instilled in me. We have to grow up. We have to change. We have to purge. We have to prune. I wrote a book, guys, that I'm gonna send it to the publisher this week. My whole journey, where I did it the hard way, God wanted me to write this book. It's an entrepreneurial book, but it's a Christian book. It's a journey that you have to go through that people don't talk about, to get to a really good, healthy, point in our lives. And that's where we can help other people. If we're healthy, mind, body, spirit, we can help others get better, because we all think we're okay. And it's okay that you're not okay, but what's not okay is if you stay there. That means the devil is winning. He wants to keep our blinders on. He wants to keep us, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. God wants each of us, all of us, to stop and think about ourselves and seek Him for all the things that we need: the peace, the joy, the happiness. We each have gifts in us, spiritual gifts in us, and we should be utilizing those gifts to make the world a better place, through businesses, helping the community. There are all kinds of things, and we can't do it just getting up, going to work, working for someone else for the rest of our lives. I guess it's okay for some, but for majority of us, we have work to do. It may be a little something that has always been in the back of your head that you want to do, that you want to accomplish. Like, you might want to be an attorney, but I can't be a lawyer. I'm not smart enough to go to school. It could be anything, but if you change your mindset, I mean, come on. You might want to be a licensed therapist. You might want to be a beautician. It's all kinds of things out here. But anyway, we have to change. Get rid of that fear. God can take that from you. I used to be afraid. That's a whole nother story right there. So we have to get rid of our fear, and that's connected to the self-worth, the trust issues with others. We have to definitely get all that stuff that has been put in us when we were younger, to bring about healthy change. And it's not to put anybody down from the past or now. It's life. And the last thing was the self-esteem. Who doesn't want a healthy self-esteem? But you got to start somewhere. You have to acknowledge that you have some issues first. And God is saying, open up your eyes, my loves. Open up your eyes. Think about how you are, why you're that way. The relationships, why do you behave a certain way? Why do you let people treat you a certain way? And so on and so on. Anyway, my next topic, unless God changes it, the love languages are still there. I still have something to say about those things. And I may talk about that with the next thing. So I have a daughter. I have one daughter, guys. She's 35 years old. She's gay. She's married. I have a granddaughter that she had the baby herself. So I want to share with you guys. It's a hot topic issue, but God placed it on my heart to discuss it. Maybe some of you out there are going through it. I want to talk about what happened to her, how I found out. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope that you were able to pull something out of my story. I only hit 3 points. I meant no disrespect. I don't know if the guy that I dated and I allowed to stay with me, I mean no harm. I put that out, well, because God told me to, number one, but it was a message in it about low self-esteem for me. It wasn't about you, it was for me, and how I was just allowing you to treat me, but others also, not just you. So anyway, guys, I'll be back in a couple of days, ready and willing to talk again, and I hope that you have a good night, and I hope that you all stick with me. Please like and share so that these videos can circulate. I don't know, I don't understand all this algorithm stuff, but help me out, please. So love you guys. Thanks. And and I will be reading your messages, so, and responding if it was something to respond about. So take care. Peace. Bye.